In today's episode, I'm going to talk about 6 easy tips plus 1 bonus tip to help calm your mind from anxiety. Anxiety can feel really uncomfortable in the moment, and when you start worrying and overthinking more, it can just make things worse. Knowing a few coping skills you can use to help you calm your anxiety can make a huge difference between getting caught in the downward spiral of anxiety and changing that downward spiral to an upward spiral. Welcome to Calmly Coping. I'm your host, Tati Garcia. I'm a licensed therapist and a high-functioning anxiety coach. Calmly Coping is the podcast for people who struggle with anxiety and high-functioning anxiety. Each Wednesday, you'll hear informative episodes with actionable tips about decreasing anxiety, adopting a healthy mindset, and managing your time and energy so you can live a calm and balanced life. Let's get started. This is episode number 33, 6 easy tips to calm your mind from anxiety. Welcome if you're a returning listener, and if you're new here, thank you so much for tuning in. So, like I spoke about previously, anxiety can feel really uncomfortable. The incessant thoughts, dread about the future, difficulty breathing, the elephant on your chest, sweating, irrational thinking, irritability, and when you're in it, it feels like it's never going to end. Like it's impossible to see beyond this state of mind. One thing is important to remember here. Your anxiety is actually trying to protect you. Your anxiety is functioning as a protective survival mechanism to keep you away from danger. But sometimes it goes into overdrive, and it's not protecting you anymore, but it's acting like an overprotective parent, preventing you from being yourself, always reminding you that the world isn't a safe place, keeping you away from any slight possibility of danger, even if it doesn't always make sense. So I want you to think of your anxiety as that internal overprotective parent. It's well-intentioned, but it's just doing too much and not helping you obtain the independence and confidence that you need to thrive in your life. With that mindset tip in place, now let's talk about those 6 easy tips to help you calm your anxiety when that overprotective parent just doesn't want to listen. Tip number 1 is to ground yourself in the present moment. That means bringing your attention to the present and being mindfully aware. The thing is that anxiety usually occurs in the future. It's future-focused thinking, whereas depression tends to be past-focused thinking. When you're grounding yourself in the present, then that's going to be immediately calming. So easy ways to do this are to connect with your 5 senses, and that just means tuning into what you can see, hear, feel, taste, and smell right now. Or you can practice taking deep breaths all the way into your belly. Even just 1 deep breath sometimes and bringing that focus to your breathing can help to bring you back into the present and into your body. This can have a calming effect and take your focus from worrying about the future to being present in the now. Tip number 2 is to focus on what you can control. Trying to think about or change things that you cannot change just creates more anxiety and helplessness. That's why it's so important to focus on what you have power over, how you choose to act and think in the present. If you're stressing about something that hasn't even happened yet and that you can't do anything to change, then it's just going to cause more anxiety and frustration. So focus on what you can control and how you're choosing to behave and think right now. Tip number 3 is to listen to calming music or a meditation. This can be really helpful in those moments where you're just having a lot of thoughts going on, or you're feeling really uncomfortable, or you're constantly catastrophizing and thinking of the worst case scenario. Bringing your attention and focus to something external like calming music that's going to help you feel more relaxed, or doing a guided meditation can be really helpful. If you want to learn more about my step-by-step process to say goodbye to overwhelm, then make sure you click on the links in the show notes or go to calmlycoping.com/overwhelm. I have a free guide that's going to help you dive deeper on how to get all of those thoughts and overwhelming what ifs out of your head. And this guide will walk you step by step through the process to completely organize your tasks and thoughts so you can prioritize what's most important and take intentional, focused action. So make sure you click on the link in the show notes or go to calmlycoping.com/overwhelm. Now, tip number 4 is to move your body to get out that anxious energy. because anxiety results in energy. Because like I said before, anxiety is protective. And so when you're in danger, your fight or flight system is activated. And essentially that's sending a whole bunch of energy to your extremities to get you ready to fight or to run away. So moving your body can really help you to get out that anxious energy that might be building up. Tip number 5 is to calm your body physically. So on that same note, since anxiety is really physical, some things you can do are to really focus on taking deep breaths all the way into your belly for 5 minutes. So for a longer period of time than previously suggested. Or you can practice a body scan meditation or do some gentle stretches to calm and get out that tension that may have built up in your muscles. Tip number 6 is to identify what it is that's making you anxious. What is your worst fear right now? What is the worst that could happen? Do you have control over this? Think about these questions, and then with whatever comes up, ask yourself, could you cope with it? The answer is yes. You can cope with it because you've coped with this before. You've been through anxiety and you've overcome this. It may be different now. It might feel a little different or look a little different or not be exactly the same, but I know that you can cope with it. And I have this final bonus tip that's not always so easy, but I wanted to include it here, and that is to face your fears. Anxiety grows when you continue running away from your fears. So what is it that's making you anxious? Reflect on what you're afraid of and identify one thing you can do to start facing your fears today. Take baby steps and don't do anything more than you're willing to do. So let's say if you have a fear of heights, and you have to go to work in a building that you are going up to like the 10th floor, and you're really afraid of taking the elevator up to that level, and so you take the stairs up, for example. So let's say on day 1 or even week 1, you're going to start with just taking the elevator up to the 2nd floor. And then you're going to increase to taking the elevator up to the 3rd floor and so on. So gradually take baby steps to start facing your fear. Don't try to do it all at once. And little changes every day are what add to cumulative long-term progress. Your action tip for this episode is to practice one of these tips that most resonates with you within the next week or the next time you're feeling anxious. Write it down somewhere that you can easily see it or put it in your phone notes or wherever to serve as a visual cue for when you need it. Because oftentimes in those moments of anxiety, that's when it's the most difficult to think about those skills and tools that are going to help you the most. So to sum up, the tips are to ground yourself in the present moment, focus on what you can control, listen to calming music or a guided meditation, move your body to get out your anxious energy, calm your body physically, or identify what is making you anxious. And that bonus tip was to take baby steps to start facing your fears. So put this into action and let me know how it helps. I'd love to hear your feedback. You can DM me on Instagram at TatianaGLPC or email me at tati@becalmwithtati.com and let me know. If you found this podcast episode informative, please leave me a review on iTunes letting me know your thoughts because it really helps me out. And while you wait for next week's episode, I have other episodes about decreasing anxiety, adopting a healthy mindset, and managing your time and energy. Thank you for tuning in today, and until next time, be calm. Thanks so much for listening. If you like what you heard, please share this episode with a friend, and please subscribe and leave me a review on iTunes. Also, remember to check me out online at calmlycoping.com and connect with me on Instagram at TatianaGLPC. All content here is for informational purposes only. This content does not replace the professional judgment of your own mental health provider. Please consult a licensed mental health professional for all individual questions and issues. Till next time, I'm Tati, and this has been Calmly Coping.